this like fear of like zombies and pandemics and things like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of like my worst nightmare. But as long as we can all, get through this together, then it's going to be okay.
What's up, friends? It's Tiffany Jenkins. I've partnered with Grove Collaborative, and we're going to surprise some well-deserving people. A little while back, I asked my community to nominate somebody in their life who deserved a little bit of goodness. As a certified B Corporation, Grove is recognized as a business doing good for people, animals, communities, and the planet. Shout out to Grove for making all of this possible and working with me on this project. On this week's episode of the series, I got to sit down with Jen, who was nominated by her coworker, Nichole. Jen is a single mother of 2, and she works as a COVID ICU nurse at her hospital. Apparently, she doesn't realize how awesome she is, so we're about to tell her. Make sure you stick around to the end for the surprise. Let's go. How do you and Jen know each other?
Jen and I met working in the ICU together as nurses.
Can you tell me a little bit about what made you want to nominate Jen for this?
Jen is one of those people, when you meet her, you feel like you've known her your whole life. The last 2 years in our profession has been a little bit brutal, and she kept coming in day after day after day and encouraging us to continue to do it. And there have been times like Jen, not just figuratively, but like literally held me up and was the only reason I could keep doing it. And that's not just true for me, that's true for so many people in that ICU. Not only has she literally saved people's lives, but she has kept the rest of us being able to do it. She gives and gives and gives of herself. And she's a single mom raising 2 kids. She has a teenager and a toddler. So she's running the full, yeah.
So she's a single mom working in COVID ICU and somehow managing to not only keep her head attached, but inspire others.
It's special. And she doesn't know that about herself. She doesn't believe that about herself. And she should.
I want to meet her. Is she around?
Yeah, she wandered in here in the last couple minutes here.
Jen, you sneaky. Look at you. You are in uniform.
I am. Yes.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Tiffany.
Nice to meet you too.
I heard Nichole explaining her experience with being in your profession during COVID, and I'm interested to hear your perspective of what it was like to have to work during this time.
You have patients that you lose every day, and you have to talk to families and explain to them why they're losing their family member. And, especially with Delta, that's when it really got hard, because it was taking no prisoners. It didn't matter how old you were, how good a health you were in. When you have to tell somebody, I'm sorry, your 4-year-old, this is going to be the last time you see him, and you can't hug your dad. It gets to you emotionally and psychologically. There's something that can be said about when you can look across the room at somebody and they know exactly what you're thinking, exactly what you need, exactly what you are experiencing in that moment, and you can count on them to be there. It was nothing that I had ever experienced. This like fear of like zombies and pandemics and things like that. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of like my worst nightmare. But as long as we can all, get through this together, then it's going to be okay.
How do you deal with going from being at work and being in this mode, survival mode kind of, to clocking out and then being there for a toddler and a teenager?
To be honest, it's I feel like I'm in survival mode at home too.
That's true.
I'm a teenager, so it's kind of like
true that.
It's just kind of like a pretty smooth transition to to go from craziness there, and then there's just less call lights and bells and things at my house.
She says that, but she does it beautifully. Like her kids are well adjusted, and
I don't know how, to be honest.
I love that you weren't giving yourself credit, and Nichole stepped in and was like, stop.
Yeah,
you're amazing.
That's what she's she's really great.
I'm her hype man.
I'm so glad that she reached out to us and told us about you, because as soon as we saw what you wrote and saw all of the hard work that you're putting into making the world a better place, we knew we had to talk to you. And so Grove Collaborative is kind of organizing this series, and they wanted to thank deserving people. We're going to gift you, Jen, with $1,000 just to say thank you for being awesome.
What?
Yeah,
why?
Just to let you know that all of the, the hard work that you're doing isn't going unnoticed. I think that you deserve that and so much more. And, you're just going and going, and it's important to take time out to realize how special you are and how loved you are and important you are. And so it's Grove and myself's way of saying thanks for making a difference in the world. And also, Nichole, just as a thank you for bringing her to our attention, we're also going to give you $500 just as a thank you for being such an amazing person as well.
Well, thank you.
On behalf of Grove Collaborative and myself, we have a very special place in our heart for nurses and people on the front lines working so hard. And so keep being amazing. And thank you so much for what you're doing and for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank
Nice
you for everything.
You're so welcome. Thank you for everything. Make sure you join me next week when we get to surprise another incredible human being. This is so exciting.